Hey friends, today I'll be sharing a creation using the Waffle Flower Sneak Peek Club Kit, which features items from the upcoming September release. This kit is a monthly subscription that allows you to play with items from the upcoming release. If you already subscribed, this kit would have shipped at the beginning of July, which is about a month before the August release. And if you subscribe today, you'll be receiving a sneak peek for the September release. Let's take a look at what's included in this kit, which is always in a pouch with the kit information right out in front. In this kit, you'll get the bonus sentiments, stacking cake die, stacking cake stencil, and A2 grip mat. Waffle Flower is doing a giveaway of the next kit on my blog, so be sure to stop by and leave a comment for a chance to win. My blog link will be in the description below. Okay, now for the card. Everything that I used will be part of the August new release in a couple of days, so if you're interested, you can shop the new release then. I'm starting off using the stacking cake die, which will cut out the 3 layers of the cake along with the flames and the candles and the frosting. So I decided to go with a light color purple cardstock because I wanted a color that could ink blend easily over it. For the frosting itself, I pulled out a piece of brown cardstock just to make it easier and I wouldn't have to ink blend anything, and I'll just die cut all 3 pieces for each layer of the cake. This obviously comes together really easily and it makes things so quick to create this big old cake, which actually fits well on an A2 card front. In the kit, there is a Waffle Flower grip mat, which is a new product to the Waffle Flower line, and it's a super helpful product to assist with your stenciling. So I already have my own tricks to keep a stencil in place, usually taping it down, using it in my MISTI, using a stencil mat, but this grip mat kind of solves all the problems immediately. What it does is the stencil will adhere to it and keep it in place. This is an A2 size grip mat, and it's perfect to use within my MISTI. I just put it in and then I'll put my die cut and then my stencil on top, and it holds it in place and I don't have to worry about it moving. You can see the places where I kind of push down on the stencil and you know that it's adhered. Within the stencil, there's etchings for the cake tiers and you know exactly where to place your stencil on top of your die cuts to stencil in the color. I picked some purple distress inks to go ahead and blend. I'm using the Waffle Flower shader brush. I believe this is size 0. It's a perfect size for the small spaces. And then I'll go ahead and blend out the candle parts. So for the stencil, it has the flame area and then it also has the candles. But within the stacking cake die, it also has little pieces for each of the candles, but I just didn't want to be dealing with the really small pieces, so I just went ahead and stenciled over it. And this is where the light colored cardstock comes in handy because the colors work beautifully right over it. Here I'm using the 6x6 grip mat and I'm using it right on top of my glass mat, which it sticks, and I'm putting my A2 card panel onto it, and then I'm using my stencil. I'm using the Bokeh stencil that was in the previous kit. It's also available online. It was part of the June release, and this is a 3-layer stencil. I thought it was perfect for this background of the cake. It just is pretty, and I'm using it with white pigment ink. You can use it with multiple colors, but I did pick a blue to kind of match the candles that are on my cake, so I just wanted to keep within the same color palette. Each layer of the bokeh, I go a little heavy-handed with the white pigment ink, and it just works really well. I really liked how this turned out. As you can see, the grip mat keeps my stencil in place. I just have a reflex of holding down my stencil just to make sure it doesn't move, but trust me, it doesn't move on this grip mat, and it's actually a really cool product, and I will be using this for my stenciling from now on. It just makes it a lot easier and you won't make mistakes because the stencils won't shift while you're ink blending. So we're going to put this cake together. I'm only putting the frosting onto each of the tiers, mainly because I'll be assembling the cake onto the card panel itself, and this was really easy to do. You just use glue, add it together. Sometimes I'll use double-sided adhesive for the back of my cardstock before I do die cuts like this, because all you need to do is pop it off the release paper and then you can pop it onto your cake. But here liquid glue works really well since I didn't add double-sided adhesive to these frosting die cuts, and they have those little nooks and crannies for all the frosting that's coming down the cake. I went ahead and used a bit of shaded lilac and my shader brush just to ink up the sides of the cake to give it a more dimensional look. I wanted the cake to look round, and just by shading the edges of each tier of the cake, it kind of gives you that effect because the lighter portion of the cake is lighter, so it looks closer to you, and then the darker areas, which are on the side of the cake, look further away, and it just creates that dimensional look and makes that cake look round. Once I finish inking up the sides of the cake, I'm going to go ahead and add a strip of gray paper, which is right at the bottom of my card panel, and it kind of works as a table. I also grabbed those bonus sentiments. These are ones that are not pre-cut, so I just went ahead and used my paper trimmer and cut out 2 sentiments that I thought I was going to use. I wanted to use happy birthday and eat cake today, but I ended up just using the one sentiment, eat cake today, and I think that's really fun. The last step of this card is basically gluing all the pieces together. As I was gluing it down, I was using my T-ruler just to make sure that all my lines were straight for the sentiment and then also the cake. And then I realized that I really shouldn't glue down the candles because I needed to slip my second layer of the cake in back of the candles. And then once I do that, I'll go ahead and glue down the top portion of the cake. And this came out super cute. I'm so happy with how this worked out. I really love that bokeh background, but as I was staring at it, I kind of thought that the white pigment ink was a little too much, so I was contemplating this, but first I went ahead and grabbed my Copic markers and kind of created a shadow underneath the bottom layer of the cake, and it just looks like it's not floating. It kind of grounds the image. It looks like it's actually on a table. And once I finish coloring that up, I'll move on to my background. Because my background felt a little flat to me, I decided to pull out my silver gel pen, and with the silver gel pen I went ahead and colored in the stars. So first I outlined it because I wasn't exactly sure if I wanted to use the gel pen to color it in solid, because just outlining it alone made the background look a little bit better. But then after I outlined everything, I decided just to go ahead and color it in using the same silver gel pen, and I think it just stands out a little bit more, and that is it for my card. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to stop by my blog for a chance to win their giveaway, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!